Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh on Sunday the 17th of August 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 280. Amazing. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch. I'm thrilled to have you here, thrilled to still be here after all these many weeks. It's coming up to my 6th year anniversary in November, which is amazing as well, on here on FLOSSTUBE. And yeah, who would have thunk? I don't know, not me, but anyway, I enjoy this weekly little, I don't know, visit with you all. Yeah, it's been a good week in that it's week 2 of no extra hours and no weekend work. And I feel finally like I might finally be catching up on, you know, my battery's getting, I don't know, I feel like they might be at 85%. They're still not at 100. Like, it's 4:30 on Sunday. Just got home, so I've been out and about all weekend. So I'm kind of feeling myself flagging now. But I haven't been sleeping that great, but that's just like a stage of life thing. And of course, it's wouldn't be a FLOSSTUBE without a sneeze coming on. One moment, I'm back. Sure as eggs, if I want to clear the sinuses, start filming, because that's when the sneezes come. I must be allergic to being on camera or something. But yeah, it's it was a pretty busy week, but not weird, not crazy week. Thursday, I had no stitching on Thursday. I went into Wellington to client site, aka where I used to work, and then had a really easy, we just went to dirty old Nando's with my friend Lauren on our way to Mamma Mia, and it was fabulous. It was a pretty full house, and bumped into some friends. Hi Judith and Mark, and also other people, a friend, an old colleague that I hadn't seen for a couple of years, and we've been doing that. We must catch up. And I turned around, he was standing next to me eating an ice cream, didn't even see me. This is in the foyer before the show started, and I was like chatting on the shoulder, went, "Hey stranger," and it was like, oh my god. Anyway, it was so nice to see him and reminded us that we do need to catch up. And the show singing was amazing. I mean, it's a fun, stupid, ridiculous story, but I think I enjoyed this one more than when I first saw it live in Sydney back in the day. I don't remember, I feel like the casting was good. The American accents were a bit jarring. Most of them did American accents. Harry of course was British. I've forgotten, Sam was Scottish in this one. I'm not sure what he was supposed to be, and not sure, was he meant to be Scottish or Irish in the movie? I don't even know. But anyway, he was hilarious. The singing was really good, and the lead who played Donna. Goosebumps during Winner Takes It All, and it was just, it was really good. So got home really late. It was 3 degrees when we got back to Upper Hutt, when Lauren dropped me off. By the time I got home, it was like 11:30, and then I didn't get to sleep till probably about 2 o'clock because I just couldn't get to sleep. And then I woke up about 5 o'clock, so I felt pretty bloody ragged on Friday. So I didn't get any stitching done on Friday because I was just too tired. Like, my eyes were just... Got through work, did our work meeting, had a drink, tried to do a little bit of stitching, and then just decided I'd go to bed early, read for a bit and go to sleep. Yesterday, went over to, Judith invited a few of us around to a bit of a stitchy afternoon, have lunch and stuff, bit of a shared lunch. I got hardly anything stitched, but I'll show you. I did have a start and a finish, but it's so tiny. But that was really nice, and nice to catch up with people I hadn't seen for a few weeks. And then today went out and picked up my friend Tracy, then picked up my friend Katie, and these are my scrappy buddies, and we went for, I guess, lunch, coffee lunch, and just caught up. We haven't seen each other for ages, and we've all just got so much going on in our lives with family and with work and with everything, you know, it was so nice. So we sat, luckily the cafe wasn't too busy because we did sit there for about 3 hours, which is a bit rude. But I kept an eye on it. If there were people looking for tables, we would have gone to the library or moved on. But there was never any demand for another table. So we were sort of fine just sitting there chatting and stuff. And I just got home. So we dropped Katie off. I dropped Tracy off. Got home. So I left here at about 10:20. And I got home at about 4:10. So that's the weekend gone. Have I done any housework? No. Have I done much stitching? No. Just on a few things this week, but it's been just catching up with friends, going to bed early, reading a bit, again, feeling like my batteries are getting recharged. So yay for that. That's what I've been doing. Here I am. Stitchy stuff. First, I have a slurp of a scalding hot cup of tea. Not scalding hot, but at least it's hot. I did remember to boil the jug this time because, you know, that happened. So, stitchy stuff. I've got a few things to show off. I saw this chart, I think, on Matryoshka GB. It's not a free one, but I loved it. I love positive, you know, feminist affirmations. So this would take me bugger all time to stitch. I'll probably find a scrap of fabric and just stitch it one day just because I can. It's a little bit short, I think, to become a drum. It could be a really skinny drum, or I don't know. I just really like it. I don't know what I would do with it. Probably a little cushion, I guess. So I'll find a scrap of something. I always have a strip of, you know, I keep my strips that you cut off when you don't need a whole fat quarter and you got that weird strip at the end. Perfect. Perfect for that. I have so much red thread, you got no idea. That would be a quick little, I just feel like stitching something small and getting a finish under my belt. That's great. So I think this is on, what's it called? Not Etsy. I should show you. It's by, if you look up Sobe Stitchery, it's on one of those platforms that you pay what you feel kind of thing. I think it had a suggestion of £5 or I think it was £5, whatever it was. I just paid whatever it suggested. But yeah, it's Sobe Stitchery, PDF, give us some money, yay, done. Okay, bought that one. That was a little chart. And then when I was at Judith's yesterday, Catherine came along, Catherine from Country Stitch, and hand delivered a few things for me that I had for my month. But first of all, I knew I was getting this. I was influential in the design and the size and the charm. So ages ago, so about, oh, excuse me, my nose is running, and I got like a boo-boo on it, like a pimple thing that I scratched, so that's great. I had mentioned to Judith that I really wanted one day to make a Hemingway pouch, and because Judith uses zip tape and stuff, and you know, it's perfect for making a Hemingway pouch. This is a Hemingway pouch. It has this design has the zip on an angle. It's essentially one piece of zipper tape that you just sew in there. So she made a couple, because of course you end up with two pieces of the tape, which you can't really do a zip without one. And she'd asked me which, so I love books and I do love cats. I am a cat lover who doesn't have a cat. Very complicated why I don't have a cat. One day when I retire, settle down, stop traveling and need company, I will get myself a pussycat. But I enjoy my freedom a little bit more than I love a pussycat. So I go around and pat other people's pussies. Yep, I said it. I love other people's pussycats. Anyway, so she made me this, and I picked the charm. She had a couple of options, but I picked the books rather than the cat charm, and it's got, you know, pussycat paws, I guess, or I don't even know. I love it. So that she made this for me, and it's kind of, I guess, a book bag slash. For me, I wanted it for my tablet. I can fit my tablet and my Kindle in there because it's big and loose enough. So it fits my little tablet for my pattern keeper. And it's a little bit bigger than is necessary, but that means if I change my tablet, if I go up a size, or I could fit an iPad in there if I went back to an iPad or what have you. I just love it. I've made it alive, so now it's just dinged. It's going to get messages coming through. They woke it up. Never mind. So what's inside it? So this was a birthday gift for next year. It's just got a black fabric with books. I love it. So it's not really a Stitchy thing, but Judith made it, and Judith makes all our lovely project bags, so it's Stitchy adjacent, and I want to show it off. So thank you, Judith, for my beautiful tablet bag, and it's very special. So that was, that's for my birthday for next year, and we talked about that like over a year ago. So what's better than making a Hemingway bag yourself when your friend makes you one? She found it useful though, making them, because she's going to modify it for next time she makes it. I think she said she's making one for her hubby, or something for her hubby. It might not be one of those. I don't really listen, but it was fun. Thank you, Judith, for that. Okay, and then Catherine hand delivered me my stuff for my monthly Rainbow Club and blah, blah, blah. So I've got to take them out of the bag. One moment. So my Rainbow Club fabric for this month, I'm asking her for all sorts of random things, is this one, and I can't remember what the project is for. It's Belfast, so it should say 32 count. She got a bit excited with their label. It's Haystack. I've used Haystack before. So it's 32 count, fat quarter. I can't remember what this is for, but it's for a project. So I don't tend to buy 32 count often. I don't buy it, I'll buy 36 and 40 randomly if I love the colour, because I'll find it, because I do a lot of my sample stitching on 40 count or 36 count, 35 count, and 32 I tend less to buy randomly, but it's for a particular project. This is for a particular project. I just can't remember which one it is right now. I have to go back through my work. But anyway, 32 count. And then I also have sent her a list of random fabrics. Some of them are big pieces, some are smaller count cuts for specific projects. And then also sent a list of other bits and pieces to purchase, to throw in. So every month I'll get a piece of fabric and something else. So there's something else, might be some AVAS Soie silk, it might be some Weeks Dry Works cotton, it might be some beads, it might be whatever. So this month I asked her to send me some beads. As you can see, she's had this one in stash for a while. Beads are fine. The little acrylic things do tend to discolor over time. What are they for? I couldn't even remember. I did email her a whole list, and I did put in brackets what they were for, so I would remember somewhere in a spreadsheet. But basically I got a bunch of beads, 5 packets of Mill Hill, and I couldn't remember what they were for. But what they are for are these. I got these a couple of years ago. I went to one of the guild, I think Mana Guild work days, and they had they had bins of things, that people had donated. They were doing fundraising, and these were really cheap. I can't remember what the yellow half sticker was. Might have been like $1 or $2 or whatever. So there's these little beadwork pieces that come with some beads. So they come with a whole lot of smaller beads and things, and bugle beads and bits and pieces, but they also needed you to get, like it says on the back, that you need like the lustered soft gold, the variable charcoal green, and the variable dark blue. They're supplied, so they're in those packets, but you needed to purchase this one here. This is Water Lily. And all it uses is the green is stitched with DMC 936, and everything else is beaded. This one has bugle beads as well. So this one needed a pack of 02024, that one. And it needed 1.5 packs of 62012. So I've got 2 packs of 62012. So these 3 are for Water Lily, which doesn't look that pink. It's quite pink, but yeah, there's that one there. So that's now kitted up apart from, I mean, they need some DMC and the fabric, but it's just on a 28 count. It says they both are called for 28 count dirty or natural linen. I'll find some 28 count. And then this one is called Carnation Band. And it again calls for DMC 936. It says cotton matched colour of linen for sewing on the bead. So you just need they suggest a linen coloured thread. And then this has the lustered gold, variable charcoal green and variable blue grey are supplied, plus short bugle beads are supplied. And then you had to get 02043 frosted orange and 03038 brick orange. So I just got the beads. So they've got, I'll find some 28 count, and one day when I feel like doing some beading, some serious beading, I've got those two projects now. I've got the hard part, right, which is the beads. So yeah, and that's the packet of beads for the other beads and stuff. So kind of all the little random beads, all the small beads and bugle beads, yeah. And then you've got the size 11. Anyway, I've got those. So thanks for hand delivering those, Catherine. So safe shipping that month. And then she also had my, what do you call it? My Silks for You club for, what month? Well, this must be July. So July 2025 Silks of the month. And they are all these lovely blue, I guess, shades of lavender. So this is 5 skeins of stranded silk, 10 meters each, and color, they're dyed for the club. So the lightest color is number 1, the darker color is number 5. So that is what's new in. Another slurp of coffee, tea. I'm just kitting up a few things that are in my stash. I've got plans coming in for next year, and anyway, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what did I stitch on this week? Well, of course, because I've got so many whips that need to be finished, I then had a new start, a start and a finish. I felt like stitching on one of my smalls, so, because I do want to do a whole lot of small finishing. I've said that like 3 or 4 years in a row, but come this summer, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay home. I'm probably going to have a couple of weeks off work. I think we'll be shutting down. I don't really know. But I'm going to do some small finishing. And so I picked up my Needfuls. So this has been I called each individual one a finish. It's a work in progress, I guess, the overall project. But I treat each of these as an individual finish. When did I start? Last year. So I'm stitching all of these Needfuls by the Scarlet House on. I've got the wrong glasses on again. Oh, there you go. The chart was a rack from Judith. I thought, she's so generous. I thought that she might have. So I'm stitching mine on 40 count Kauri linen by Country Stitch. It's the half of the length of fabric that was left, well, not half, maybe 2/5 length of the fabric from my Under the Red Blues that I finished recently. So it's using all of that. And I'm using my own overdyed cotton conversion. And this time I stitched the Sewing Notions, and this was started on the 10th and finished on the 11th. This one was such a fun one. Where is it? So here is it there. It's just so much fun. So that is the one I stitched. Here are all 4 of them thus far. I'm going to use the same fabric as the background when I finish them. So there we go. I think the first one's called, that one's called, that one's called Coverlets. And then the next one's called Samplers. Then I stitched quilts, so that blue and gold one's quilts, then Sewing Notions. I've got one more left called Vintage Buttons, and it looks like this, and the model has big buttons sewn on, but the pattern does have stitched buttons. I'm going to stitch it with stitched buttons, and then I might put some vintage buttons on, I'm not sure. At this stage I'm edging towards just leaving it without vintage buttons and just leaving the stitched buttons. So that won't take very long though. So that's the only one I've got to do, and then I will be able to finish at the end of the year. So I do plan to stitch the fifth one, but love how they've come out. They're quite big, and this is on 40 count, and I think if you stitch them on like 28 count, they'll be big enough for the couch. But that's where that one's at. So that was a bit of a start and a finish. It was a sneaky little, I should work on one of my mini whips, and I stitched that one instead. Okay, that's the first piece of project. These aren't necessarily in any particular order, they're the order that I ironed and shoved them on the table. So next up I carried on with Colours of Autumn by Dorothee Kandzi. And this is on 35 count white Zweigart using, I wrote down the code for Soie d'Auger from AVAS Soie, but I swapped 2 out after I wrote this card. I should really write that down. I should put the colours on the back. I will before I finish. Started this at the Dunedin retreat in 2023. And I'm just edging towards the finish. Last time I showed you it, I had done the top 4 from the last 2 rows. I got another 3 in. So that's where we're at. That's where she is. Looking lovely. I'm enjoying the white on white more than I did when I was doing it down here. So I'm really pleased. I just picked it up and yeah, stitching the white in, marking it off the chart with a pencil. And then I'm not using the silk app on my iPhone. I don't enjoy it. It's too small. If I had an iPad with the silk app, I'd probably be fine with it, but I just don't enjoy it on my iPhone. It's too small. So I printed it out using a pencil, and then I fill in with the colour, and that's working really well. So that's where we're at. Really pleased. 5 more to go. I don't know if I'll stitch on it this week because I do need to get my garden club series. I usually stitch that around the 13th, and I missed that last week, so I need to get that stitched. So that might be my kind of extra stitching this week. I also have neglected this a little bit. I haven't stitched on this every day because Thursday wasn't home, and then Friday with being so tired, I had a bit of a headache, just like a hangover headache. I wasn't drunk, but I just hadn't had enough sleep, so I couldn't stitch on this piece. Yesterday was out and about, didn't stitch on it. Today I was out and about, so I haven't been home, haven't really been able to stitch on this for 4 days, and I like to only stitch on it during the day. And it's my my Bristol, one of my stash sample starts, so Louisa Coulimore, that I'm doing a stitch along. So I started it with Narissa for stash sample starts, but also Judith also started hers, so the 3 of us are stitching it as a bit of a stitch along. We'll be stitching on this forever. Next time we'll all be together should be the Christchurch retreat in March, so we'll take Louisa down, even if I don't stitch on it there. Hopefully we'll get a photo of the 3 of us. They've both started up here. Narissa from Narissa Stitching Lifestyle, she's stitching Louisa, and also she's still doing Harriet Salt, so she's so much further with Harriet Salt. She's got a lot of that done. That's her stash sample stuff. That's her red thread a day. She's doing both of them as red thread a day. So she's stitching on both her Bristols, and Judith got to the end of her row yesterday, which is so cool. So this is on 56 Grunard from the Wee Linen Company. So yeah, Louisa from Hands Across the Sea, and the fabric was a rack from Judith. She's so naughty and love her. And I'm using Gütermann Silk Colour 46. So this was my first start for stash sample starts. And I did get a few, like I did more than 1 thread a day, which makes up for when I don't get to stitch on it. So what did I get done? I don't remember where I was at, but I know these ones are new. That one I think is new, and I got the name in. So I recharted my name to fit. She does fit. Don't have to move anything along. Given that I've got, I'm greedy and I have 2 large capital letters in my surname. The L was already there because I did have to move it over 2, I think. So the L got moved to the left, but there's still one thread a 1x between the D, top of the D and the next little motif, so it's squished in there. So next up, what have I got? I didn't really feel like, I was meant to do my third start for Stash Sampler, starts on Friday, but again, I didn't really feel like it. But I did want to do a little bit of stitch. I thought I'd try a little bit of stitching. So I picked up my Real Comfort, because I really want to get this finished this year. And I've got a butt ton of stitching. Last time you saw it, I had done that house, or that side of the house. And I'd stitched the, let's say, the border up to there. So I've done this bit here. This is on Plum Street Samplers, a Real Comfort from Plum Street Samplers on cord 4 linen, 36 count Saltbush from Fox and Rabbit, and using the Vicky Clayton hand-dyed fibres silk conversion. So this was my birthday start. I want to finish it before my next birthday, so I've got till the 18th of January. And I didn't get that much done because, again, I worked out I was really tired. So I'll show you where I'm at. Ta-da! Oh, it doesn't look like you did much. I'm like, no, I didn't do that much. And I had to frog it a couple of times because, yeah, how I was tired. Yeah, don't stitch when you're tired. So I started on the main part of the house, and then I got the greenery in for there's flowers along that whole row. So 2 more of those on each side of the door, and then 2 more on this side. So I got all the greenery in, and then I'm going to stitch. Next up I'll stitch, and then I filled in this bit of the house up to where the yellow starts. So I'll get the yellow in for all 6 flowers, you know, thread the needle and get it done. But I miscounted along here by 1, and then they were out. I had to stitch these 2 greeneries about 3 times. Had to cut the thread down here and patch it. So just to show you what it looks like on the back, there's my back. I mean, it's pretty tidy. I don't try hard necessarily, it's just how I stitch. But I'll show you the hullabaloo down here where I snipped it rather than pulling a whole 2 rows of silk out, because, you know, and I just tacked it down. So it's a bit messy on the back there, but anyway. So not that much, but at least now I can pick up those flowers, and then I can stitch up to where the windows are. And then once I get, so if I get the flowers in, it's so tiny, get the flowers in, I'll stitch up to the windows, and then once I get the window, I'll get all the window frames in. Hashtag Stash Sampler Start number 3 for the 2025. I picked up this old Restart, Helen Hally, 1843 Scottish Sampler. This was a chart from Just Cross Stitch magazine, October 2019. It's from Ridley. It's a scanned chart, which means the printout's terrible and I can't even see some of the symbols. And even when I blow it up on my phone, they just go blurry. The quality of the resolution of these charts in Ridley are shit. So I'm not going to bother unless I cannot find a chart anywhere else. That's my personal opinion. The scanned ones, probably the modern magazines aren't so bad because they're probably digital, they have digital files. But I think these older magazines have been scanned and presented as like scanned PDFs, and they're just, the resolution's poor, and I just cannot see some of the symbols, so I'm just making it up. It doesn't really matter because I'm doing a conversion. Some of you may recall I did a restart. I started it a few years ago and I hated it because I started it like the called for, which is the reproduction, and the reproduction looks nothing like the original, and it was the original that attracted me to it from a colorway thing. So I'm kind of just using my own random stuff to make it more of a warmer tone. I'm not necessarily stitching like where it might say call for the symbol I may use a different green or a different, I'm just using warm colors, and I've had to frog a few things and swap them out. I just want it to look warmer, so that's the warmth of it. So anything where it calls for, apart from one, my blue green's not that blue, but where it calls for like blue green, even the Wedgwood, I've gone with the Wedgwood. I've swapped out for like a warm grey, and the blue greens have ended up being quite yellow greens. Like I've just gone with, yeah, where it calls for grey green, again, they're kind of more yellowy greens. So I've just gone more, warm, and I've added a couple of another extra orange and a kind of a dirty yellow in instead of the blue roof and stuff. So I'm just having fun with it, and if I don't like it, I'll pull it out and swap the colour out. But anyway, so I started it, I think, yesterday morning, and I did quite a bit on it last night and a bit this morning. And unusually for me, I'm showing you something with an unfinished piece and with a thread and a needle, because I was stitching on it and then I had to go. So excuse me, because that's not how I normally roll. I know you don't care. I care. But here is Helen Hally to date. So I've got just part of the border in, and the border, the colour around the border is probably the coolest colour that I have. It's a cotton, they're all cotton overdyed. The house isn't filled in, that's part of it. I do need to still do the framing on the window. I need to fill in the door. I've started filling in the roof, and I've picked the sort of slightly greenish yellow instead of a blue. And I've got a number of different peachy, pinky oranges with a bit of lavender in the thing. I will rechart it with my name, and that is where we're at. Yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I think it's, you know, it's not, it's similar. The green in this basket's definitely more of a mustardy green. This one is a bluey green, but this one, and that's compared to the model, which was on, you know, really bright DMC, or it was Soie Dauger, but I'm really happy with how this is coming so far. So that's start number 3, yay for me. And then what else did I stitch on? I do have something else, my wee Bridgerton bag. Look, this is when there was only one couple. Another Judith bag, just a wee one. So a couple of years ago, maybe last year, I don't remember when. No, it was a couple of years ago. I bought, when I was around at Anne's and we were doing a bit of a jingle ball gathering, Anne was putting in an order on Etsy from Happy Stitching Time for some wooden ornament blanks, and I bought the 4 Matryoshka nesting dolls. Yep, spoiler, I've started one. And you get like the charts, and as part of when you buy the blanks. So you buy each of these blanks separately. You pick like 1 or 4 or however many. And I'd already, last Christmas when I was in Australia, I stitched the 3, what are they called? Nutcrackers that I had, you may recall. And this one to be fully finished, aka something shoved on the back. But I thought these were nice to stitch out in the wild because easy to see. They're not, you know, they're not hard to count. They're just like a nice little take along stitching project. And I felt like a little start to finish. So I started on the weeest one, and I almost got it finished only because I wanted to add some gold to it. Mine had the face colour was in these little decorative elements on the dress and that bow. It had the flesh colour, not really. Ugh. So I said I wanted to add some devil's thread, some gold, and I had some at home. So I got a start and a finish yesterday. So I had 9 little X's to put in when I got home. So as soon as I got home, I put them in. So that's the little baby one, otherwise called for DMC. Absolutely adorable. I used 3 strands on these wooden, I think they're about the equivalent of 14 count. And I started with 2, I didn't like it. So I used 3 strands of DMC for the crosses, and I used 2 strands for the back stitch. Lovely. So that was really cool. So when I go to end of the month, we've got, so not next week, the weekend after, we've got the quarterly Wellington region Stitchy day, because it's the 3rd, there are 5 Saturdays in the month of August. So I'm going to take my little kit along, because it's a tiny little kit with 6 DMCs and some devil thread. I've even got a bit of devil's thread in there ready, 3 strands. I do need to get another, I need to write that down. I need to get another skein of, let me have a look at the number, 816, 816, 816. There you go, I need to get another skein of 816, but it's in there. And I've got my little charts, got my little card. So I should show you my card. So happy stitching time on Etsy, and they're the Matryoshka dolls or nesting dolls. Can't remember what they call them. They might call them Russian dolls. So the wooden blanks and the designs come from the vendor, and I'm just using the cordwood DMC plus metallic, and I had to start and finish of the small one yesterday. So they're kind of fun. I'm glad I got them started. That might just be my little stitching in the wild bag. If we do a jingle ball gathering this year, I'll take that as well. Just keep stitching on them. So that's all my stitching. So I did touch quite a few things. Already been on here for 45 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to show you any previous starts. I do want to mention, thanks to everybody for your lovely comments last week. And I was kind of surprised how much feedback I got on showing my black work finishes. There were quite a few people where black work was quite new to them, which was, I don't know, surprising, I guess. But hey, you know, not everyone is exposed to the same stuff. And I just really commented that they really liked seeing the black work, so that's really awesome. So just a quick little comment too on, like I alluded to earlier, I'm starting to plan my trip finally. So I've been talking for, I should have put a coaster down, never mind. I've been talking for a couple of years about wanting to go to do a trip to Scotland, Ireland, UK, maybe Europe. I'm about to start booking stuff, so I'm looking at maybe July, August next year. Just need to have a chat with boss at work, make sure that's going to be okay. And so what that means is that come the new year, like I'm going to have to slow down with the shopping. I've been a bit mad this year. So focusing on cutting stuff up this year. I'll still probably carry on with floss clubs, at least my silks for you one, because that's really hard to get into. Who knows, maybe I'll put them on pause, and my fabric club. But other than that, I have to be a little bit careful. So I might not, I need to start putting more money away for, like I've got the trip covered, I guess, the travel, the any tours I want to do, accommodation, that sort of stuff. But I'll need to save up for fun money. I don't want to be somewhere and not be able to take advantage of something because I can't afford it. Like I'm not going mad, but if I want to go on a fancy dinner, or if I want to make a purchase of something special for the home, or I don't even know what. I don't want to go to an extra show in London or what have you, then I want to be able to do that. So I've got to be a little bit careful next year. But also what that means, what does that mean? Yeah, that's basically it really. So yeah, I'll probably be talking about that as I plan stuff. But yeah, again, it seems ages away, but this year went really fast. But I'm looking at going for about a month, and my main goals is to get to the Shetlands and to go see puffins if I can, which is why probably go in July, end of July. Hopefully, yeah, I don't really want to go over in summer, even though it's, but that's really if you want to see puffins, you have to go in summer. So, but I want to go to the Shetlands for a few days, and then get over to Edinburgh for a couple of days, then do a bit of a tour around Scotland and Ireland, and then finish up in Dublin for a couple of days, and then get myself down to I'm probably only going to get down to London for a few days, and just do all the museums and the sites and maybe a couple of shows and stuff. Whether I go anywhere else on the way from Dublin to London, I don't know. That's just the bones of it, is Shetlands. I mean, Scotland and Ireland is all about my heritage. I do also have heritage in England from my mother's side, but I don't feel as drawn to that as I do to my Scottish and Irish ancestry. So I'm so excited. It's going to be like a mega trip. it's gonna, yeah. And I decided just keep it to there, and then I'll then come home and then start saving planning towards another trip to Europe later and do, you know, the some other parts of Europe, like the France and the Italy, and get over to the like Croatia, Slovenia and stuff. So we'll do that next time. But it's what we're doing. We're excited. But it's going to cost a lot of money. The New Zealand dollar does not go that far, and everything's more expensive. So whatever. But I'm very excited about it, and yeah, starting to plan for it, and going to start booking stuff basically as soon as I confirm with my boss that he doesn't care. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, but he doesn't care when I go. Just giving a heads up that I am going to take a month off next year, and it's probably going to be around July, August. Plenty of notice to work around for work, but I just want to, you know, have the courtesy of asking rather than just telling. And then I will start booking things. So I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay. So anyway. So excited. I'm very excited about it. I get very excited about planning trips. I get excited about going on the trips. I get excited about doing the scrapbooking and the album and the memory stuff after I get back. So I get to enjoy my trip at least 3 times. So I'm getting my money's worth there. But yeah, it's going to be a costly trip compared to other trips I've been on. You know, as in, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. So I'd rather that than a new car. So that's how it is. So I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a long one, and it's nearly 5:30 and starting to get dim outside. So, yeah, take care and find joy in your stitching. And as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.